Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. And this morning I come to you from inside the light rail. I'm in a carriage heading down to Circular Quay. As you can see, there's nobody in the carriage, but it is early in the morning. But let's commence our day a little bit differently today, and we'll do a walk and talk once the light rail pulls up at Circular Quay. It's a little overcast from what I see outside. There's not much wind, but it's going to be a little bit cooler today than what it was yesterday. Yesterday was almost a summer day. It was just blisteringly hot and beautiful.
This stop is Circular Quay.
What I'll do today is I'll take you through a book summary, an awesome book summary, and the book is entitled Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. So the book summary that we'll do today is entitled Blink, and it's by Malcolm Gladwell. It's Tuesday, and let's get out and we'll head off. Here we are, Circular Quay. So I'll head round the back of the light rail and go down by the water. It's always beautiful being down by the water. And you can see the Harbour Bridge just emerging there on the horizon. A bit of a breeze blowing. So what I'll do is I'll go down here on the last jetty just to protect myself from the breeze. The jacarandas here are almost finished. Still a nice mauve lilac colour, but yeah, they're almost gone. Wow, it's amazing what a bit of rain and a bit of heat and a bit of wind can do. Blown those petals off the tree. It's quiet, it's deserted, but it'll pick up over the next hour or two as people start waking up and commencing their day. Anyway, the book Blink is an awesome book. It's an absolutely awesome book, which basically focuses on how we make decisions and how to improve our decisions. Anyway, let's sit here for a little while. It is peaceful, it's low tide. So basically, the author in the book Blink makes a bold statement, and his conclusion at the end is that good decision making is a combination of both intuitive decision making and deliberate decision making. A lot of people spend far too much time making decisions, according to the author. We spend our lives weighing up far too many options, looking for far too much information to decide on things, and by the time you decide, you've lost momentum, you've lost energy, and it's lost its appeal basically. So there are times to act quickly, there are times to act slowly, but I guess the first main point to come out of the book here is that sometimes you need to trust your intuition, and the author talks a little bit more deeply about what intuition is. And our intuition, our gut feel, is basically our subconscious. Our subconscious guiding us and telling us what to do. Given that our subconscious basically is a very, very powerful resource that we all have available to us, but very, very few people understand how important that resource is and how capable that resource is. I don't know if you've had that feeling but I'm sure we all do, that gut feeling when something happens and you get a feeling about somebody, you get a feeling about a situation, something doesn't feel right or something feels really right. Now that gut feeling is both positive and negative. So let's discover and talk about that gut feeling, what that gut feeling is. And according to the author, that gut feeling, as I said, or as I alluded to before, is your subconscious talking to you. And the author says that gut feelings are very, very powerful and very, very relevant for decision making. And sometimes the best decisions are the quick decisions. I like making quick decisions. I don't want to spend too much time thinking about it. And my measure, my baseline, my benchmark is how I feel. If it feels right, I'll go for it. If it doesn't feel right, I'll basically not go for it. So he says that quick decisions are good decisions, and in many times in our lives, that is so true, because we need to act, and sometimes the opportunity doesn't hang around for too much or for too long, and if you don't act immediately, then it moves on. Not only does the opportunity move on, but the people who provide those opportunities also move on. Now you get invited once, you get invited twice to social events, you come up with an excuse once or twice, and before you know it, you're no longer on the guest list. So bear that in mind, but also understand that your unconscious is your friend, is a very, very powerful ally, and everything that happens and everything that comes into our world via our five senses is captured and recorded by your subconscious. You can think of your subconscious as being a mental valet that's taking care and taking control and understanding every single thing that's happening in your life. But your conscious doesn't understand everything, because if your conscious spent its time picking up and paying attention to all the things that are being loaded into your subconscious, you'd go absolutely crazy from all the distractions. And the other thing we need to understand and appreciate very, very deeply, and this is a very important point, that spontaneity isn't being random. So when you do something spontaneously, where it just feels right, you just want to do it, it doesn't mean that you're random in what you're doing. It means that you're acting on a very powerful instinct that we all have, but as we alluded to before, that very few people appreciate and understand. We humans, unlike many other animals in the animal kingdom, have an extraordinary insight and ability to tap into insight and instinct. But we also are troubled as well, because sometimes we seek more information because we think that more information leads to better decisions. In some cases it may, but in most cases it doesn't, because the more information you have, the more choices you have, the more distraction and noise you have in the decision-making process, and the greater the chance of you being stuck and caught between choices, and you procrastinate, and before you know it, you don't act in a timely fashion, and you miss out on the opportunity, or you get eaten by the lion. Who knows what happens? But you need to move, and you need to trust your gut instinct. So once again, let's talk about the crux of this book, and he says that sometimes gut instinct is good, sometimes it's not, because we are also influenced by a number of biases, subconscious biases that we've picked up, we've inherited from our friends and family over the years. Fears, for example, irrational fears are also things that are loaded into our subconscious. So how do we use that, or why is that important, I guess, is the best question. I guess the best question is that sometimes our gut instinct is based on irrational fear. And this is the time that we need to override. Remember and pay attention to my choice of words. Sometimes we need to override our gut instinct with deliberate thinking, especially at times where we're fearful or we have irrational fears dominating our thought process. So the other important point that he makes is that a lot of the unconscious reactions that we have come from a locked room, a place that we don't have access to, your subconscious. We don't have access, so it's very, very hard to tap into your subconscious. It's a locked room. So, and it's, there's a science and there's a black art behind what's happening in our subconscious. So we need to use our subconscious, but we also need to override our subconscious, because our subconscious, as I said, or as the author says, is sometimes influenced by rational fears. And if we're constantly going by our gut instinct without reviewing it and thinking about it, then we may sometimes be making the wrong decisions. The other thing is important is that when we're under a lot of pressure, and it's happened to me in my work life, my career, when you're under enormous time pressure, sometimes you just shut down. All your senses just shut down and you just can't function. And that's where you need a cool head. That's where you need a third party, a mentor, or somebody, or a set of rules that you can go back to help you deal with these sorts of situations. Because if you're dealing or operating in an environment of high pressure, where your body is full of adrenaline, and you're in fight or flight response mode, sometimes, as we alluded to, you'll make the wrong decision. Especially, for example, I'll use an example: share trading. When times are tough and the market is falling away, and everybody's running around like chickens with their heads chopped off, your gut instinct is to just follow the pack and just sell. But at those sorts of times, you need a broker, or you need somebody. You need a set of rules, or you need some sort of preconceived game plan to remind you that you need to slow down. You need to be more deliberate in your thought process, and not just react to your gut instinct, but to respond to the stimuluses that are coming into your life, and respond appropriately, and not just do something to make you feel good, which you'll regret later on. Anyway, I think that they're the key messages to come out of this wonderful, wonderful book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. There's a lot of good stuff in there for young people, and we all must free ourselves up to listen and not disregard our gut instincts, but by the same token to also be deliberate in our thinking, but also knowing that if you're too deliberate and you want too much information, that information is not going to lead to a better decision. You know, at the end of the day, you don't need every piece of information to make a great decision. You just need a few key pieces of information, knowing that we live in a world which is chaotic and incomplete, and you need to make a decision, go with it, and then review your decision and change direction if you need to, but to keep on refining that decision-making process. So thank you very much once again for joining me on Jim's 5am Club. We'll finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, learn to become decision makers. Learn to become bold decision makers, people who make decisions, take action, and continue to be decision makers and action oriented in your approach. So thank you very much for joining me today on Jim's 5am Club, and until tomorrow, where we meet again from another location and hopefully with another empowering message, a book summary, an observation, a song. Live, learn, and pass it on. Have a good rest of the day. Enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll talk again. Bye for now. Ki yasas.